What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Funko 411. On today's episode, we're going to be going through my list of the top 10 Funko Pops of 2024. Before we get into that list, though, I do have a bunch of honorable mentions, and I'll kind of explain why they're honorable mentions and that they didn't make the list as we go through them. So let's get into that first, and then we'll see what the top 10 were. So kicking off the honorable mentions, we have a few characters that you probably would have assumed would have made my top 10 because they're from franchises that I love. I love Scream. I love Back to the Future. If you've watched the channel for any amount of time, you probably know that. But the reason why these in particular didn't make the list, and I'm talking about these three on the bottom, these are all newer pops. So this one came out last year, Freddy as Marty, Freddy as Doc with the helmet, and then, of course, the new version of Ghostface. The reason why I didn't put these on the list is because I personally prefer the original versions, or I didn't think it was necessary to have a newer version. Like with Marty, they just made the Freddy Marty a couple years ago. I didn't think they needed to do another one. With Doc, I really liked the fact that I have the old version of Doc. I didn't think they needed to do a new one. And then with Ghostface, I personally just prefer this mold of Ghostface over this newer version. I'm happy that people are able to get this version and people can get Ghostface and all that. So that's why these three are honorable mentions and didn't make the top 10. So this next little group of honorable mentions is actually kind of foreshadowing a pop that does make the top 10, but I kind of realized that Funko really killed it when it came to Batman this year. They had a lot of awesome pops. It may be because I really like the original, series of Batman Returns, even Batman Forever. But I put Catwoman in this honorable mention list. I thought this Riddler was amazing. I almost included this in my top 10. It would have been low on the list, but I thought this one in particular was really well done. But we do have a Riddler already. And then Vicky Vale was a cool one too. So a couple honorable mentions that I figured I should shout out because I did really like these pops. So some of my favorite pops always end up out of the box, and this year was no exception. And there were a couple that I wanted to kind of shout out that were nearing that top list for me for 2024. First one up here, we have Hiccup riding Toothless, which this is amazing. Now that I'm even kind of like looking at it, I'm kind of second guessing if I should have put this in my top 10, but a really, really great pop. So there's that one. And then second up, we have Mayday Parker, which I thought was just such a cool, cute little pop. She's just hanging upside down, got the Spidey mask on. It's just really well done. I posted this on Instagram a while back, so if you're not following me on Instagram, go give me a follow on there, because I do post some Funko pictures and stuff like that. But another really cool one that came out this year. And then lastly, we have Garfield with the slippers and the coffee. I keep this one on my nightstand, and I think it's just a cute, cool little pop. I'm not like a major Garfield fan. I think that's probably why I didn't put it on the top 10, but really love that pop. Now, this next little bundle I was actually super torn on because all of these have production dates on the bottom of 2023, but I'm pretty sure, almost certain, all of these came out in 2024. So I was trying to keep the list to pops that actually got in people's hands in 2024, but since these had a production date of 2023, I still kept them out of the list. I probably would have included one or two of these in the top 10. Like, I really loved Baby Freddy. I thought that this was one of the best pops that they've done in a really long time because it's just creative. I love the giant crown and all of that. And then, of course, I'm a big Jurassic Park fan. And, we have plenty of Jurassic Park pops, but this is such an iconic moment with the banner. I was really tempted to kind of make an exception for these because I think all of these released like at the very beginning of 2024, even though they have stamps that were 2023. So I put them as honorable mentions, but you could definitely make the argument, in my opinion, that these are some of the best of 2024. I really loved General Saurus, is also from Galaxy Quest. I really like this whole set. And then, of course, we have another Batman pop that I really like, Bruce Wayne. I just thought this was a great pop that, we never had a Bruce Wayne pop to my knowledge, I don't think. So having a Bruce Wayne from Dark Knight was really cool. But there's a few more honorable mentions. I've got 3 more, and then we're going to get into our top 10. So here are my last 3 honorable mentions before we get into the top 10. And I kind of realized that I gave you a lot of honorable mentions, but it was because it was kind of hard for me. I really took a lot of time to find pops that I really loved, ones that are in my collection that I'm keeping. Keep in mind, of course, like I'm not an anime collector, so you're not going to see any anime pops on the list. I'm sure sure there were really great anime releases this year, but this is definitely more of a personal list for me. But here is Evil Ash. I really love this pop. This one came out pretty recently, Scare Fair, right around Halloween time. I love this one a lot because, you know, just when you think that they can't think of another way to do a character, you get something like this. You get Evil Ash. Similarly, Tony Stark, a really cool version of Tony Stark. I was close to putting this on the list, but they did do another version of this pop kind of recently that kind of took away from this being special. So I included it as an honorable mention, but I do wish that they would have just kept this version and not done another one, you know, a few weeks later. And then lastly, we've got Eddie Funko. I really love this pop a lot. I like the fact that they're kind of introducing this new character because they can do a lot of cool stuff with it in the future. So wanted to include that one too. But now let's get into our actual top 10. All right, so coming in at number 10 is one that I'm not like a major Transformers fan, but I really loved this 2-pack. It's metallic. It's two characters that really belong in a 2-pack. We've got Optimus Prime and Megatron. This was a Hot Topic exclusive from the Retro Toys line. I just thought that this was a cool little set. I loved the box art. I liked the 40-year anniversary kind of design. Just a really well done pop. Again, like I said, not like a major Transformers fan, but I wanted to kind of at least put some stuff on the list that I thought was really, you know, a great little set or a great pop. Not necessarily something that I collect, but there is Optimus Prime and Megatron. All right, coming in at number 9 is Animal with the drums. And kind of similar to those ones that I showed at the beginning with Marty and Doc and Ghostface, I was a little bit torn on this one, but this one is different enough with the drums that I felt like even though they have other versions of Animal, I really thought that this one was special. They did do a flocked version. I only have the regular one. I picked this up at Target, but I thought this was a really cool pop. And to be honest, I'm not really a big fan of flocked pops, so this is going to be the one that I hold on to. So that's Animal coming in at number 9. For number 8, we've got Frosty the Snowman. So this one is pretty timely since we're here in December doing this list, but this was one that's like, how you kind of question, how did Funko not already do this? You kind of figure that we would have had a Frosty the Snowman already, but we didn't. And this whole little set of Frosty, Professor Hinkle, and Karen is just so perfect. It's kind of like one of those ones that you'll take out every year for the holidays if you are into that, if you're into taking your pops out of the box like I am. But Frosty the Snowman, really cool little pop. And for number 7, we have another one that's actually kind of recent. This is Bullseye with the Ninja Mask with Mikey. So I'm a big Ninja Turtles fan, but I'm an even bigger Michelangelo fan. So Michelangelo is my favorite turtle, and I just loved all of these pops. I loved how they had Bullseye kind of just popping out of the Target basket. You got the pizza there, you've got the skateboard in the back, and then of course you've got the little baby turtle on the top. And this is the chase version. The common for this one was Raphael. I liked how they did this set in general by having the common and the chase be the different turtles. This was just something that I think Funko should do more of. Maybe not necessarily with like Target, but having characters like that where they have the chase be the other character altogether. But I really like this one. So here is Bullseye coming in at number 7. All right, for number 6, I kind of cheated a little bit and we're doing 3 different pops, but they are all Freddy's and they are all Batman related. So I kind of wanted to do them all in one. These are the best Freddy's of the year, in my opinion. We've got the 900 piece Batman Beyond, really, really cool Freddy. Then, of course, we have Freddy as Mr. Freeze, which again is amazing. I alluded to this at the beginning of the video. They killed it with Batman this year. I kind of snuck under the radar for me until I was putting this list together, but they did a really awesome job with Batman stuff. And then last one we've got is the 500 piece of Two-Face. And this is arguably the best one just because it's blacklight, it's super limited, and they did kind of sneak these into boxes, which was cool. That if at home boxes, you could get this pop. So this was a great little set to put in our number 6 spot. All right, coming in at number 5, we've got Megan from the Funko Fusion line. And really, Funko Fusion in general, they did an awesome job with these pops. I really liked a lot of these, but Megan was by far my favorite. When this pop first released, I was like, man, they could have made this a con exclusive and had it be like, 2,000 pieces or 5,000 pieces or something. They went the route of doing the more limited version that's kind of like the fusion version of Megan, which was totally cool with me, but I personally like the common one. So here is Megan. They, horror this year, they did a good job. They kind of stepped up their game with horror pops and sci-fi in general. So I thought this was worthy of our number 5 spot. And speaking of horror, coming in at number 4, we've got Art the Clown. I chose to use this version because the only other one I had was like the Scare Fair, but I thought they did a really good job with all the different variants of Art the Clown that they made this year. Here's the other ones just in case you're curious, but this was definitely like the year of Terrifier. The third movie came out and did really well. Funko had the Pops coming out right at the right time. So, horror fans kind of were rejoicing this year. They did a really great job with that. I hope that Funko continues to realize that they've not necessarily underserved the horror community, but they can do more for horror collectors because Funko, kind of takes it in small ways, but I think they could do a little bit more. So here's Art the Clown coming in at number 4. All right, coming in at number 3, we've got the Black Light 10-inch Hulkbuster. I opened this pop a few videos back, probably about a couple months ago now, but this is one that I just fell in love with as soon as I opened it up. It's a massive figure. It's heavy. It's really well done. A lot of cool details. So even though it's not a standard size pop, I thought it was definitely worthy of our number 3 spot. And he seems to agree. All right, coming in at number 2, we've got another kind of bigger pop. It's a deluxe version this time, but this is Batman. And like I told you, it's kind of the year of Batman, silently the year of Batman without even realizing it. But this is just such an awesome version of Batman. I'm not sure about the box. I mean, I guess they couldn't have done this in a standard pop box with his kind of cape flung out like that, but man, that's a cool pop. So well done. And I'm a big fan of the original Batman. It was actually the first movie I saw in theaters. That's going to give you a little bit about how old I am, but I was probably a little too young to see it in theaters, if I'm being honest. But there's Batman. That is just, it's so cool. And it's so kind of iconic of that moment in the movie and just Batman in general. So that is our number 2 spot. And coming in at number 1, I sort of cheated again, but I could not pick between these two. And did you really think with all these Back to the Future pops coming out this year that I wasn't going to put any on the list? I had to put these up at the top spot because we've actually never got a Lorraine or George pop until this year. I've been collecting Funko since 2013 when Marty and Doc came out, and that's kind of what got me into it. And in that time, they've never made a Lorraine and George. So these had to make the list because they're just unique characters. They're ones that, collectors and fans have been craving for so long. And now I'm sure that they're going to make more variants of these, but I'll be perfectly happy with that. So in our number 1 spot, we've got George and Lorraine. But that is all I've got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed all the honorable mentions and stuff. I'm curious what you all think. I want to hear your top 5, 10, whatever you want to put in the comments below. Go ahead and do that. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and I will see you on the next one in 2025.